Well, our weather stories here today across the nation include this big storm system, which spawned tornadoes down to the Gulf Coast states and also some very heavy snow on its northwestern side. So since late last week, we had two very large storm systems pushing through. And this latest one here, again, responsible for some tornadoes out near Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Yesterday, topping out into the 70s and 80s down through the south and fairly mild in the midsection of the nation as well, topping out at 36 in the Twin Cities. And that helped to keep the snowfall amounts down quite a bit as we went through a transition period between rain, freezing rain, sleet, and then some snowfall. But highs yesterday, anywhere from say 5 to near 15 or 20 degrees above average, whereas the west was a little bit cooler than average, and that cooler air is now beginning to sag in behind that storm system. But here are the weather headlines, which include some wind advisories across the Great Lakes and the Ohio Valley. We have some flood watches, warnings, and advisories down to the south. And then on the wintry side of things, we'll take you into the Four Corners region where some winter storm warnings and even some winter storm watches have been posted here, where 6 inches or greater of snow could be possible from, say, western Oklahoma, panhandle of Texas, and then higher tallies in the northern Rockies. But these are some of the headlines that'll be through midday, kind of wrapping up post-storm system, which there were reports of a foot to a foot and a half from Siston, South Dakota to Audubon, Minnesota. And there you go. Tallies just on yesterday's date approaching 6 inches in Duluth, 4.5 in International Falls, and almost 10 inches in Fargo. So that's kind of the quarter that had some of the higher tallies, but those snowfall amounts will begin to taper, breezy around the low, and then seeing a wintry mix as you head up into the northeast here. Generally during the morning hours, snowfall amounts with that should be fairly light, but our satellite radar down to the south showing scattered showers and very heavy rainfall over a 48-hour period in some of these areas, and no surprise that we have some flooding headlines in here with as much rain as we've had. Hattiesburg at 4.32, and again, that's where we had those tornado reports coming in, and it'd be interesting to see how strong that tornado was. A lot of damage coming in from that system. But just take a look at the scale of that from the Hudson Bay all the way down to the Gulf Coast states. A very classic spring and fall time storm with another little curl of circulation starting to show up here over the Four Corners region, and that'll be responsible for that snow. Again, in the Four Corners region, and then also into Texas and the Oklahoma Panhandle, with more heavy rain possible along the Gulf Coast states. Severe threat today, not as high as it was yesterday. And looking at a Clipper system to arrive in the upper Mississippi Valley Wednesday night and Thursday. That'll be spreading in some scattered snow showers, but also be tugging down some cooler air. So by the end of the week and this upcoming weekend, I think the folks around the Great Lakes region will be quite a bit colder. We'll talk about that, of course, coming up through the week. But today, more heavy rain down to the south and lingering snow in the Great Lakes.